Hey y'all, this is the third time I'm trying to record this video today, and I know it's just the enemy being because I'm being obedient. Like God has been really on me to share this stories for about a good week and a half. It's gonna be a little time. I can understand if you don't have to say you can't stay, but like, share, and move on. I get it. It's for whoever it's for. Okay. I just want to tell my story of how God was able to bless me and in real estate, and how I actually decided to become a realtor. So in 2012, I moved back here to my hometown pretty much. I was a military brat, but this is pretty much where I called home. And I was a whole statistic. I had 2 kids and I was pregnant. So I moved here with clothes, no money, just kids and clothes. That's all I had. And my grandma let me move in with her. She had space for us, so she let us move in, and she told me, she said, "Hey, I understand you can't work, but my house needs to be clean, food needs to be cooked, and you need to watch your kids." And she goes, "He also told me, I'm gonna give you 2 years. You have 2 years to get your life together, and you gotta find some place to go." I said, "Bet." So that was about the springtime of 2012. Had my baby in November, and by January that following year, the only job that I could get at that time was just a receptionist at a little small private doctor. So I was working there, trying to do everything I can to save and all that stuff. So the following year, did taxes, was able to get a nice big old check. So I took that entire check, paid off every credit card I had, any loan, anything that was negative. I took care of it all. And then got the kids what they needed and built up a little bit of savings. I kept working, doing everything that I needed to do. And about almost getting to the end of 2014 at that time, I was like, it's almost time for me to leave here. And I do not want to get an apartment. I didn't want to get an apartment. I didn't want to rent. I wanted my own house. And so I was like, hey, I'm going to buy a house. And a lot of times when you're planning, which I learned getting older, move in silence. Because ain't nothing like being discouraged from the get. I remember calling my mom and saying, hey, I'm preparing, like, I'm going to buy a house. And she just flat out told me, you can't buy no house. And I mean, looking at it now, I can understand where she was coming from because, again, you had no savings. You were a single mom and you were like making $10 an hour. Like, it didn't math, right? And so I remember getting off the phone just feeling like, maybe she's right. Maybe I can't buy a house. Then I had another family member was like, just pretty much being rude and laughing, was like, ain't no way you gonna buy no house. You can't buy no house. You can't do this. You can't do that. So I remember just talking about it with my friends at work, with some of my best friends today. But she was like, forget all that. Let's just let them tell you no. Don't worry about what other people say. Just let them tell you no. And I was like, you're right. So I remember calling. I just got on Google. I just looked up a local realtor, whatever. He was top star, whatever you want to call it. And I called him. I was like, hey, this is how much I make. Do you think I can buy a house? And he was like, I mean, you can, but it's probably going to be only like 60 to 70,000. Like, so, I mean, it ain't going to be much if you can. And I just remember like feeling so discouraged and just hung up. Immediately hung up. My other coworker, who did not like me at the time, was like, can you please call that number back? Because she just heard my conversation. She goes, can you call that number back? I was like, yeah. I called the number back. She took the phone and went off on this man and was like, I don't know what you said, but I'm going to make sure nobody works with you here in the city because this is ridiculous. You don't treat people like that. She hung up. She wrote down a number and said, this is going to be your real estate agent. And she's going to work with you and she's going to help you. And you can buy a house. Then, I don't know if it just gave me a little jump. And I was like, baby, you don't even like me, but what? Okay, thank you for the push of encouragement because I definitely needed it. And so I called her. I met with her. I told her, hey, like, they only told me that I could get this, but I really need to stay in this area. My kids are doing good in these school zones, and I don't want to change. I don't want to be too far from where my grandparents are and all that. And we started looking, nothing was coming up. And I would see things, and I'm like, I remember one house me and my grandpa went to, it was $70,000 because that's all I thought I could get. But it was like one of them, it looked like a Monopoly house, like one of those old school houses that don't do good. And he said, absolutely not. You're not buying this. I said, well, they said, I don't care. You're not going to buy that. I don't care how long you got to stay. I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to find anything. And around January February time frame, a house popped up on the market. Now, the house was $113,000. Now, remember, that man said I could only get $70,000. Now, this is a while ago, okay? So the interest rate was about 4.25%, which wasn't a problem. The prices were really good, though. That's the problem we have now, unfortunately. So that's a whole nother video. But anyway, we went and looked at this house. And my realtor was like, this is it. Now, my mom actually went with me to that house, and she was like, Charmaine, this is your house. I was wrong. I'm sorry. This is your house. I was like, okay. And so the next day, I applied with a local lender here. And he was like, hey, yeah. At first, he said I was approved for, I think it was like 115 or whatever. And they wanted like 117. And I was like, I called and I was like, can I do that? And he literally just sounded like he was like, boop, 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 on his little calculator. He was like, yeah, we can do that. No problem. I was like, what? How about the only thing I had to pay was $500 in earnest money. They paid all my closing. I had no down payment because I lived in the county, so I got a USDA loan, which requires no down payment. And because I didn't make that much, I was like, it was just a perfect thing. And I remember they told me my mortgage was going to be $700. And I was like, oh my God, I can do that. I can swing that. Like, I'm working all these hours. I'm like, I can swing that. Like, and my kids got to stay in the same school zone. And I remember closing on my house. My manager bought my furniture. She bought pots and pans. Friends giving me stuff for dressers and everything else. Like, when I tell you it was nothing but a godsend, it was. Now, and I know that this is a real estate story, but I really need you to tap in and understand that when you have not because you ask not, number one. And then number two, if you are faithful with little, you can be faithful in much. That house was a great house for me for about a good 5 years. And I was able to get married. My husband moved in that house, all the things. And I just want to encourage you, if you want to, and you pray about it and you're believing God for it, you can do it. I mean, sometimes the enemy is going to attack in different areas or ways, but at the end of the day, it's you and God. It's how are you guys going to handle it? Speak those things that are not as though they were. Period. And so I really just wanted to encourage everyone. I sold that house. I wish I would have held on to it to rent it out, but me and my husband sold it, and we were able to build our next house, custom build our next house, which was just another step of faith of like, oh my God, hold on. Now my mortgage is going from this to this. Like, can we? And God has done nothing but provided, and he's been nothing but loving and caring, and the things I care for, he cares for. But at the end of the day, I care for his glory more. And I just wanted to come on here and encourage everybody. So, love you. Have a good day.